Senator Graham says, why? $1.9 trillion, a lot of money. We've spent money over the last year. He's right. Why are we spending money? And the answer is because we are facing a series of unprecedented crises, and because the American people are reaching out to us and they're saying, we are hurting. We are in desperate condition and we need help from the federal government. That is why we are responding. 500,000 people have died in this country from COVID, and many millions more have been made ill. And what the long-term impact of those illnesses are, nobody at this point knows. But certainly no one will deny that we have a pandemic crisis. And our job is to make sure that we produce the vaccines that the American people desperately need, and that we develop an effective mechanism to get it into the arms of the American people. And the truth is, and I want to thank the President and his team, we have made progress in the last month. But we still have a long, long way to go. And to produce the vaccines, to hire the people who will make sure that people get those vaccines, inject people with the vaccines, it's going to take money. Everybody in this Senate, and I assume in the country, wants our kids to get back to school. Well, you just can't open the schools unless they are safe. Parents are not going to send their kids back to those schools. Teachers are not going to teach. Child care workers are not going to provide the care that the little ones need. And you know what? To make those schoolrooms and school buildings safe is going to require resources. But for the sake of our children, we need to reopen the schools as quickly as possible and do it in a safe way. There is money in this bill, Senator Graham didn't mention it, to make sure that this coming summer, school districts all over this country have the resources to provide strong, well-staffed summer programs so kids who have missed significant amounts of school can make up some of what they have lost, in addition to getting some recreation and associating with their fellow young people in a way that is safe. You know, Mr. President, there was a poll that came out just last week. It was rather shocking at what it said. And it said that 63% of the American people are living paycheck to paycheck. And Senator Graham says, why are we spending all of this money? And the answer is, we don't believe that children in America should go hungry. We don't believe that working people should be evicted from their apartments or lose their homes. We don't believe that in the midst of a pandemic, people should not be able to afford to go to a doctor. So making sure that people have those direct payments, yeah, we believe in that. We believe that if a family is struggling today through no fault of their own, having lost their income, yeah, we are going to get them a check for $1,400 and a family of four a check for $5,600. You know, there are a lot of people in this country who are doing very well. And they're wondering, you know, what's this big deal about $1,400? That's not a lot of money. You know, you go to a corporate lunch, a bunch of people come there, they can spend $1,400 on a lunch. But if you're struggling to put food on the table for your kids, that $5,600 for a family of four is life and death. It is dignity or desperation. People are wondering, how am I going to pay the rent that I owe after the rent moratorium, the eviction moratorium expires? How am I going to feed my kids? How am I going to take care of the basic necessities of life? So yes, we are providing $1,400 per working class family because that is desperately needed. So when the senator says, well, why are we spending all of this money? The answer is because we are living in the most difficult moment in the modern history of this country, and arguably even a more difficult moment than the Great Depression of the 1930s. People are hurting, and in a democratic society, government is supposed to respond to the people who sent us here. Now, I know that there is controversy, and Senator Graham raised this issue. Democrats have a majority, a bare majority with the vice president, 51 votes. Why are we not working with our Republican colleagues? We have reached out time and time and time again. The president has reached out. Work with us. But you got to understand the severity of the crisis. And they have not done this. Using reconciliation, by the way, Mr. President, as you well know, not a new idea. When our Republican colleagues had the majority, they used reconciliation. What did they use it for? They used it for massive tax breaks for the rich. That's what they used reconciliation for. They used reconciliation in order to try to throw 32 million Americans off the Affordable Care Act, something that Trump was fervent about. And by one vote, Senator McCain, we prevented 32 million people from losing their health insurance through the reconciliation process. So our response is, you want unity? Well, you know what? We probably have more unity today in America around this package than anything that I can remember. Polls vary, 65, 70% of the American people understand the crisis we are facing. They want us to respond. This legislation is enormously popular, not just from progressives, not from moderates, but from Republicans as well, depending on the poll, 40, 50% more Republicans support it because they can't afford to pay their rent. They can't afford to go to the doctor. They understand that government has got to help. So the real question here, and President Biden has raised this issue, is we believe in unity. We believe in bringing people together. How does it happen that when 40, 50% of Republicans support this legislation, we can't get one vote from Republicans here? What's going on? And the answer is, I'm afraid that my Republican colleagues have moved so far to the right that they have lost contact with the needs of working families. So, Mr. President, as I said earlier, this legislation is not just about dealing with the pandemic and health care. It's not just dealing with the severe economic downturn that we are facing. It's not just dealing with the disruption of education in America and so much more. It's not just dealing with the worst moment in the modern history of this country. This amendment, this legislation, has everything to do with restoring the confidence of the American people in democracy and in their government. And if we can't respond to the pain of working families today, we don't deserve to be here. So Senator Graham said it's going to be a long night. Bring it on. We're ready. But at the end of the day, we are going to do what the American people want, what the American people need. We're going to pass the American Rescue Plan. And with that, Mr. President,
Senator from South Carolina.
The Republicans yield back their time.
Time is yielded back.
I yield back my time as well.
All